Well, welcome to TMP. My name is Bo. I've got that disgusting taste out of my mouth. That aftertaste from game one was no bueno, no good at all. So I've been processing, I've been thinking. I asked some of you guys for your thoughts. We'll get to those in just a second. But what, if any, silver linings did you come away from game one with? I mean, that first half, there wasn't really anything positive other than the ironic, can't be worse than this. Ain't going to be no more this bad basketball. Like, it was literally just, it couldn't get worse than this. We had Luka and Kyrie looking passive or unable to enforce their will, which they had done, I want to say, effortlessly throughout the season. Now, I know it's not effortless. I know it requires incredible amount of determination and skill and brilliance and force, but they didn't have that in that first half. Now, they came out gangbusters in the second half, but unfortunately, they were 24 minutes too late to turn it on. They turned on the Jets hot, but it wasn't enough to really make it a tight game, and it certainly wasn't enough to win the game. So I want to keep this video kind of short, right? I want to keep it to my five silver linings coming out of game one. And the first one is this. I'm going to glance over at my notes every once in a while. The first one is this. Luka and Kyrie will be out for revenge. Luka and Kyrie, those two supernova of stars, those two incredible offensive players, both took the first half of game one off, and it cost us the game. Now, everyone was bad. Kid was bad. The support players were bad. But Luka and Kyrie, the game really rests on their shoulders. You know, the coaching and the strategy, that has an important part. The support players have to play. But really, if we're going to be winning games, we know whose shoulders those wins are coming from most nights. And it's coming from Luka and Kyrie. And I believe that they will come out looking for revenge. They're going to be out for blood. I think, and I hope, and I pray we see ticked off Luka. The I've come for your souls. I've come to make widows of you all. I've come to make your children orphans kind of Luka. We've seen that Luka time and time again. He'll go onto enemy's home court. He'll go into enemy territory and he will just snatch a fool's soul. He will just absolutely just break your will to live, right? Like, I'm hoping that we see that Luka. Not the Luka we saw in the first half who was really trying to be a good teammate. Like, he was really trying to, I'm going to penetrate a little bit, and then because they're doubling and crashing and collapsing, I'll hit a teammate here. No, we need the Luka who goes, come on, guard me with 5 guys if you want. I'm going to score. Now, you know, within reason. But Luka was not forcing the issue. And he even owned up to that in his post-game press conference. I've got to be better in the first half, he said. And he's just got to. He's got to be the Luka we all love, right? He's got to be that fun-loving torture zombie, right? He's got to be out there ready to destroy people. And Kyrie, in turn, needs to come along and not take a half off. We need to find Kyrie getting the shots he loves, getting the open threes created by Luka's gravity. We need him pushing the ball on the break and pulling up for those threes that feel like they never miss. We need him, you know, doing things with the ball that only he and maybe a couple other people in the whole world can do at that speed and at that amount of skill. Like, we need these two guys playing at their apex, right? Ideally, we wouldn't be in this position where they have to be playing their best game. But tonight, we need them at their apex. Tonight, we need them at the top of Everest as far as what they can bring to the table. We need Luka and Kyrie to ball out. And I believe they will come into game two with that kind of killer instinct. I believe they're going to come into the game. They're going to take no prisoners. They're going to offer no quarter. They are going to destroy. Now, I could eat those words. I don't think so, though. I think our two superstars are coming to play tonight. Second silver lining I've got is that the defense is real. Now, we knew it throughout the last roughly quarter of the season that the defense was real, but we even saw it in game one, a game where we were getting blown out most of the game, right? We even saw the defense tuned up. Like, there were 2 quarters, 2 of the 4 quarters in game one, the Mavs held the Clippers to 22 points. They held them to 22 points. Now, the Mavs have done that thing where it's like they hold a team to 20 or under multiple times in the last 20 games or so. But that wasn't just a regular season fluke. That wasn't just against bad competition. They were doing that kind of stuff against really good teams. And in game one, they had quarter 2 and quarter 4 both held the Clippers to 22 points. Now, the critic might go, yeah, in the fourth quarter, it seemed like the Clippers were easing off the gas pedal a little bit. Maybe that's true. Maybe a little bit. But the defense was still solid. It was still good through 2 of the quarters, right? So the defense is there. The defense is real. We can contain even very well coached teams who are shooting 50% from 3 and in the high 40s from the field, because that's what the Clippers did in game 1. They still only had, 107 or 109, I think, 109 points. The Mavericks should be able to beat that just with their offensive firepower, right? If Luka and Kyrie and the support players show up, we should be able to clear 109 pretty easily. So we held a team that was blazing from the field, like I said, 50% from 3 the whole game. And we held them to 109, and 2 quarters held them to 22 points. My third silver lining that I came out of game 1 with in retrospect was this. And this is the most obvious one of all. Never again in the Luka Doncic era, never again in the Luka and Kyrie era will you ever see something like we saw in the second quarter. 8 points. 8 points. That's like a first grader's basketball score in a quarter. 8 points. That the Dallas Mavericks chose an extremely bad time to have the worst quarter in franchise history. But they did it in game 1 in the second quarter. They only scored 8 points. No one could do anything. And you might go, the Clippers were giving it their all. They were. The Clippers were playing hard. But it wasn't the Clippers, guys. It was the Mavericks. The Mavericks were absolutely incapable in that second quarter. It's like their brains just stopped working for 12 minutes. And everything they tried failed. Every ball that could have bounced towards the Maverick bounced towards the Clipper. Every shot that could have rolled in rolled out. Every pass that should have been a little crisper was a few feet off. Everything was off in that quarter. It was historically embarrassing to have it on that stage in game 1 of the playoffs. But they won't do that ever again. I say that, like, the point that I am most confident in is we will never see another quarter like that from the Luka-led, Kyrie-led Dallas Mavericks. It was just like the Monstars snatched their power. I know that's a commonly used trope here in NBA podcasts, but like, listen, they went from being some of the best players in the world to not knowing how to play basketball for 12 minutes. You will never see that again. Breathe a sigh of relief. That's not something that's going to be happening anymore or ever again from these Mavericks. My fourth silver lining I came out of game 1 with is I predict, maybe not all, let's not just be biased fans, right? I predict that at least some of the support players will be significantly better than they were in game 1. And I mean specifically offensively, because most of them, except Daniel Gafford, came to play defensively. Most of them were really effective defensively, or at least giving tons of effort defensively. But offensively, they were all pretty much just wildly inept, just absolutely ineffective. And so I predict that guys like Gafford will play better, because he couldn't play worse. Like that game 1 that Daniel Gafford gave the Mavs was shockingly disappointing. And I got to think that as a man, he has enough pride in himself that he's going to come up in this game and he's going to show out. Daniel Gafford will be better. Exum, 3 points and like nothing else. Exum must be, and I believe will be, considerably better. Josh Green had a lot of Josh Green kind of things happening in the game. He had a lot of energy. He was running the floor. He was bouncing around. Still can't probably get around a screen to save his life, but at least he could hit a corner 3, right? And so I bet Josh Green in his minutes will give you something a little bit more. THJ gave us 6 points in I think 15 or 16 minutes. I believe that some of these support players will be better because none of them came to play offensively in game 1. Basically, the Clippers said, hey, Mavs, we don't think your support players can do anything. And the support players were like, right. And now I believe game 2 and moving forward, they will come to play. They will hit some open shots. They'll make some driving dunks. They will hit some corner threes. They'll hit some open above the break threes. They will do far more offensively than they did in game one because none of them are snipers, right? Timmy Hardaway Jr., when he's hot, he can be a sniper. Josh Green's really good from the corners. Guys like Exum has been really, really great all season. We need to get them in their bag, though. We need to see them hitting some shots. And then my fifth and final silver lining is this. And it's really just a tip. It's run, 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 run. Plenty of people pointed out, even like the Clippers' own media guys were saying like, hey, this is an old team. This is a slow team. They do not get out and run. And if the Mavericks, who were top, I want to say 7 or 8 in pace, if they get out and run, the Clippers will not be able to keep up with them. They will destroy us on fast break points. And even in a game where we were getting blown out, the Mavs still absolutely dominated in fast break scoring. It was 18-5. Those old legs don't run, guys. Those old legs do not push the ball, right? Paul George and Harden and Kawhi, they're not looking to run. Right? So if you can grab a rebound, which requires first step, grab a rebound. But if you can grab a rebound and push, like Kyrie and Luka have done such a good job of all season long, then this margin could be even greater and could be even more impactful leading towards a win. Right? So the 5 silver linings I came out with is trust in Luka and Kyrie. Those are men who have pride and integrity. They are going to fight for themselves. They're going to fight for their brothers. They're going to fight for us in game 2. They are going to come out from the jump and they're going to have force and determination. They are going to be men of conviction. They're going to be leaders that this team needs and leaders that they have been. That's the first thing. Kyrie and Luka will bounce back. They're going to be out for blood. Number 2, the defense is real. As long as we can put 4 quarters together, man, the defense is real. This Mavs defense, this Mavs identity is a defensive identity, and I love it. No more 8-point quarters? Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty safe bet, right? As long as the Mavs can just be who they are, they have a great shot of beating these Clippers. No more 8-point quarters, though, please. Thank you very much. Number 4 silver lining is the support guys will come through. Maybe not all of them. You're probably not going to get all of them pretty much any night, but maybe 2 or 3 of them will have a really good night. Hit a few open shots, make a couple nice back cuts, get a couple dunks in fast break on the break. Yeah, I'm predicting a few of the support guys will really come through offensively because I know they'll always defend. Most of them will defend, but we need to see them on the offensive end. I predict that at least a few of them will really come through for the Mavs tonight. And then lastly, last silver lining is run. All right, so I asked a bunch of you, what's your one silver lining that you came out of game 1 with? Let's go see what you said here. All right, here we go. So what was your positive or silver lining? What's up, Marcel? Mavericks Digest. It can't get any worse than that. Yep. Yeah, that's kind of the... Yeah, it can't get any worse than that. I mean, goodness gracious, that's something right there. Blake's point, no one died. That's a silver lining. Yeah, absolutely. No one died is the silly statement, right? But like, no injuries, right? Gafford's, he bumped knees with Paul George at one point, and he's fine. Kid came out and said he's fine. So we have a clean sheet as far as everyone is good to go. Strandon says that second half is going to shape up to be super important. Playing like that will make sure we get this series in 6. Oh, I love that, Strandon. Very nice. Very nice. Fezzik says, one positive about game 1 is that there's game 2. Yeah, yeah, that's a great point. There's always the next game, right? It was only game 1. Joe Mama says, nowhere to go but up. That's a good one, Joe. That's exactly right. Yeah, I'm sure they looked at film and just put their hands in their faces the whole time. My hope is that they were just furious at themselves, right? And I hope that maybe some tough words were said to old Coach Kidd, right? We've got to have a better plan. We've got to have better actions. We've got to have better strategies. If this is how they're going to be defending Luka and Kyrie, we've got to have more of an idea of a way to counteract that and to still get Luka and Kyrie good shots and get them good looks, right? Luka Doncic is my MVP, mine too. The whole second half, they played well. I think the physical play of the playoffs surprised the new guys. that are new to this. Maybe. Yeah. I know that a few of those guys really didn't look ready. Gafford just looked bamboozled. Dante gave us basically nothing. Derek Jones Jr. literally scored no points in the whole game. Yeah, it was just a lot of no-shows from the guys who are not your main guys, but they need to do something, right? They need to contribute in some kind of way. And I bet tonight the lights are not as bright as that game one, for sure. Sean says, we turned it around in the second half. Absolutely. The second half was way more competitive. We won the second half. MVP Luka, we won the second half. Oh my gosh. That's what I just said. Remoob says the second half was good. I thought it was just a little too late. Yeah, it was a little too late. I remember posting at halftime a prediction that said the Mavs are going to end up losing this game by 8 to 12 points. 8 to 13 points, something like that. I said Luka and Kyrie are going to come out blazing in the second half, and it's just not going to be enough. And I was totally right. Totally right. They came out, they remembered who they were in the second half, right? It just was a little too late. 24 minutes too late. Keith says, everybody on the Mavs could see the terrible approach in the first half review, and they made adjustments for game 2. Yeah, that's the hope, right, Keith? That's a good silver lining. Absolutely. Texas Burner or TX Burner, Josh Green and D-Live brought some great energy in the second half and helped us out in transition. We need them both if we're going to win this series. Derek especially. Man, Derek, listen, as with most people, Luka is my favorite Mav, but D-Live is just behind him. Now, not as far as quality or superstardom or anything like that, but as far as like who I am rooting for and who I love to watch play. Like, I love to watch D-Live defend. I love to watch him on the pick and the roll. I love to watch him figuring the game out as a young player and as a young man who seems to be really smart. Like, I love D-Live. I know it's Luka, and for some people it's Kyrie, but for me, like, D-Live is just after. Like, I love watching him play. Odinell says, no, it's over. We're getting swept. Maybe we had a Clipper fan sneak in here, huh? Brian Trizzle, nice. Brian Trizzle says, good second half? Yeah, that's a silver lining, absolutely. Fanatical Maverick, we already ate the explosive Harden game. Did we ever? 4 for 4. He started the game 4 for 4 from 3. We already ate the explosive Harden game. We got the jitters out in game 1. We're supposed to lose that one anyways. I don't know about that, but yeah. Kid got to see how going big versus small is going to work. Josh Green looked playable. He really did. I liked his energy. The Clippers are feeling cocky now. Oh, so you're expecting a little, we'll catch them unaware a little bit here. We learned we can't mess around even if Kawhi is out. Yeah, well, we definitely can't mess around now. Charlie Moe, what's up? Charlie Moe says the offense got going in the second half. Absolutely. The defense too. The defense was going kind of pretty good from second, third, and fourth quarter. But yeah, the offense really turned it on. Yeah, Spot On says Mavs won the second half. So a lot of us are having the same kind of idea. The second half was a clear turnaround. Headband Lucas says we shook the rust and the nerves off. Yeah. Skylar, what's up, Skylar? Skylar says Luka and Kyrie realized that their play needs to overcome the coaching. Hadn't really talked about how poor the coaching was. And how such obvious decisions like certain challenge calls, the most obvious one is the one where Harden kicked his leg out in the most unnatural basketball maneuver you've ever seen in your life, and he got the benefit of the call, and Kid had like 25 to 30 seconds to challenge and just didn't. I have not heard a good explanation. If you've heard a good explanation, like if Kid was asked about that and he responded, let me know, because I have not yet heard it. I have not heard him respond to why he didn't challenge there. It's such an obvious missed call that cost us 3 points, and then the Clippers went on a run. Nothing Man says we win that game if 1, we actually played basketball in the second quarter. Yeah, 8 points is not really playing. And 2, Jason could challenge that Harden 3 possibly, but definitely with the second quarter and possibly with that Harden missed call for sure. Clayton Lee, Kyrie balled and was efficient, and I expect more of the same tonight. I expect more than even from game 1, because I expect 48 minutes, or I expect 36 to 41 minutes from both Luka and Kyrie, and I expect them to come out and be dogs tonight. Just absolutely tear it up. Jay Camp, what's up? 109 points in a game is a defensive rating that would be second in the NBA. Oh, we got a little defensive rating action here. I love that, Jay Camp. It took JH on fire. LD, Luka Doncic, historically bad, and Mavs historically bad half for Oh, James Harden on fire. Bad for the first half for LA Clippers to get a 12-point win. Boy, I was having a hard time reading that sentence. Clippers didn't do a thing to limit good shots. Open, good shots all night. Mavs just didn't hit them. Mavs in 5, maybe 6. I've been saying 6 or 7 all along. And that's including if Kawhi has been out. And you might go, hey, believe in your guys more. I believe, man. I believe in our Mavs. I love them. But I just know the Clippers are a well-coached team with a lot of really good talent on there. Stonk Life, the gambling ape, says Mavs didn't give up. Oh, you're the first person I've heard to really point that out, that at least they had the fight, right? They disappeared. They had a brain disconnection in the second quarter. Their two superstars didn't play well in the first half, but they did not give up. Some of that reflects on the coaching, right? Some of that reflects on the coaching. All right. I mean, listen, I'm no Kid fan, but I think he has them fighting. I think they will fight for Kid. He just needs to have a better strategy. Ryan says, I was at work and couldn't watch. Seems like Gafford in early foul trouble. Yeah, and a couple of those fouls were really dumb and really ticky-tacky. One was just a stupid. He just ran into a guy like very foolishly. But yeah, he just did not show up. He seemed rattled. And a once-in-a-lifetime bad second quarter. The Clippers team that couldn't miss. Game 2 will be different. Yeah, I bet so too, Ryan. Energesis completely outscored them in the second half when the Mavs' energy wasn't even there. Now imagine we don't shoot 22% from the field and have the worst half in NBA history. Yeah, just unbelievable. LA says second half. Yeah, the second half, right? It's all about the second half. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so I think we got some really good synergy there from you guys' opinions and my silver linings. Listen, there's a lot of great reasons to hold on, to maintain to the optimism that we had going into game 1, right? That wasn't a fool's errand. It wasn't like we were just blindly going, our team's going to be pretty good. Like, no. Our team came into that series the hottest team in the league, or one of the hottest teams in the league, right? And they did it with skill, not luck. And so I believe they're going to come into game 2 with these silver linings that I pointed out, some of the ones that you pointed out, really good things y'all pointed out there. And I believe the Mavs are going to take game 2, right? They've got to. They cannot go down 0-2. You do not want that to happen. I believe it won't. Believe in our Mavs. See you tonight, guys. Go Mavs!